What's up, YouTube? A quick content warning. This video talks about extreme diets, weight loss, eating disorders, really like the whole shebang. If it's bad and it has to do with diet and exercise, it's probably mentioned in this video in excruciating detail. That starts the second the video starts and does not let up until it completes. So please take care while watching if that's what you choose to do.
These are like my favourite mangoes, just hyper sweet.
These ones are probably about half a kilo in weight.
Sweet fruit, very high in carbohydrate, high in sugar.
Bananas, and I'm in love with bananas as well. Who isn't, hey?
Just do it better, you know, do 80-10-10 to the letter. Just, yeah, man.
I scoffed down some papayas. I had 2 huge papayas.
Let us go back to the year 2015. I was 20 years old and had just gone vegan, and in the 20 years prior to the veganism, I had not really engaged with vegetables, nor had I really looked into what a vegan is supposed to eat before I did it, which in hindsight does feel like something I should have considered. But in the early months when I wasn't really sure what to have for dinner, I would go on tumblr.com and look up vegan recipes. And one day, while doing that, I saw this post in the vegan tag. It was a question from some anonymous follower to some vegan blogger named Bonnie. And the question was something like, I want to go vegan, I want to eat how you eat, but I'm scared that I'm going to gain weight if I eat all those carbs. And her answer was something along the lines of like, don't worry about that. You can eat unlimited carbs on this diet and you will not gain weight. And 20-year-old me was like, that sounds great. So I went straight to her YouTube channel to see what was up with that. And what I found was fruit. Lots and lots of fruit. It seemed like the more carbs, the more calories, the more sugar, the better. Not just for Bonnie, but for her boyfriend and her friends, who all seemed to be doing a lot of roaming of the beach and riding bikes and eating fruit. And they all said the same sort of thing, that eating this way was the best they'd ever felt. No portion control, no counting calories, and most importantly, unlimited carbs. It was the opposite of everything I'd ever heard about diet and weight loss. And yet, every vegan on YouTube seemed to be doing it, and something about it just kind of made sense. Before humans figured out fire, they ate a raw food diet. It will require skipping forward about 2 million years or so before raw food diets emerge once again. In the last 1,000 years or so, you'll find some like scattered monks who ate mostly raw food as a spiritual practice, but raw foodism as a diet, the way we know diets, emerged in the late 1800s. A raw food diet is what it sounds like. You don't cook your food. You eat raw fruit, raw vegetables, raw nuts, raw seeds, and that's it. Some raw foodists will eat raw animal products, but for perhaps obvious reasons, this tends to be a vegan thing. Now, why would someone do this to themselves? Great question. Raw food advocates would say, this is just what humans are biologically designed to eat. We're frugivores. This is what we ate 2 million years ago, before we ruined everything, with fire in grocery stores and ovens. Some would say that cooking our fruits and vegetables robs them of their nutrients or even makes them toxic, and that we could all achieve optimal health if we all return to this more natural way of eating.
See, the cooked food never tended to be. All right, but people like the taste of it, and they like the spicing of it, and all of a sudden we found ourselves with all cooked food mostly. And now because of that, we have sickness, we have problems.
That's Anne Wigmore, one of the early advocates for raw food in the US. She had a fruitful career in which the Massachusetts Attorney General sued her for claiming an energy enzyme soup could cure AIDS, among other things. She was ordered to stop representing herself as a physician despite her doctoral degree in divinity from the College of Divine Metaphysics in Indianapolis. Raw veganism, from its start, was pretty much dismissed by mainstream science as quackery. It lived in the same sort of fringe health underground as Reiki and homeopathy and alternative cancer treatments. The kinds of things you have to really seek out, and one tends to beget belief in the other. Not the kinds of things you usually find people talking about in mainstream vegan recipe blogs. That started to change when a raw vegan named Doug Graham released his book, The 80-10-10 Diet, in 2006.
What we're looking for is foods whose nutrient content closely mimics our nutrient needs. That's the most nutritious foods.
Graham is a former chiropractor and he's been raw vegan since the 70s somehow. He was a prominent member of the raw food community where he hosted health retreats and traveled speaking at fruit and raw food festivals.
I could spend a long time talking about 80-10-10. I get pretty excited talking about 80-10-10, and to stay really focused for me is one of the things that I found that 80-10-10 makes so very possible.
This book of his, 80-10-10, promoted a very specific kind of raw vegan diet, a super low-fat one. That's what those numbers mean, 80-10-10. 80% of your calories on this diet come from carbs, 10% come from protein, and 10% come from fat. If you're unfamiliar with macronutrient ratios, just know that this is like a deeply abnormal one. The 80-10-10 ratio makes this a diet of almost exclusively raw fruits and vegetables with a heavy emphasis on the fruit. Even plant-based fats like avocado, nuts, seeds, oils, all of that is either severely limited or removed from your diet on 80-10-10. So a typical Doug Graham style meal looks like this.
This would be lunch for me. That would more than do the job. But I might eat 2 or 3 more bananas. Like I could have this many more. I don't know exactly till I sit down to start eating them how great they're going to be, how active I plan to be in the morning. There's got to be room for a little variation. It's not quite exact.
Doug Graham provides what I can only describe as a spiritually upsetting meal plan in this book. A full day of eating includes 4 pounds of watermelon for breakfast, a smoothie with 1 pound of bananas, 1 pound of peaches, and water, just water, for lunch, and a 3-course delight for dinner. First, enjoy 1 pound of mangoes drizzled with the juice of a lime. Then cut up 8 ounces of mangoes and 8 ounces of heirloom tomatoes. Blend together 3/4 of the mango and 3/4 of the tomato, and then drizzle it over the remaining chunks of mango and tomato. To top off the night, chop up a pound of romaine lettuce, toss it with 8 ounces of cucumber and mango, and then blend 8 ounces of red pepper with 4 ounces of tomato as your dressing. When I read 80-10-10 and its meal plan and its claims, I see exactly what I described before, which is a fringe diet with fringe claims promoted by a fringe practitioner. That's so restrictive that I struggle to understand how anyone actually followed it. But people did start following it, and I think the reason this happened is that 80-10-10 was released in 2006, right at the start of YouTube.
You know, people eat anything when they are hungry. They even eat animals.
One person who read Doug Graham's 80-10-10 back in 2007 was Leanne Ratcliffe, now best known as Freely the Banana Girl.
Hi everyone, my name's Freely and I'd like to talk to you about why I eat a low-fat raw vegan diet.
Freely's first book, Go Fruit Yourself, describes her lengthy journey on all sorts of diets before finally discovering high-carb, low-fat, raw veganism, which she sometimes just refers to as the lifestyle. For Freely, this diet could do what no other diet had done. Not just weight loss, which she says she lost 40 pounds on it, but all sorts of claims, like whiter eyes, fluid loss as suspended toxins leave the body, overcoming drug dependency, and a sense of well-being that can only be achieved on a high-carb, raw vegan lifestyle.
Tell us a bit about what you ate today.
What did I eat today? I had,
Everything you ate. Don't leave anything out.
Okay, I had 2 litres of orange juice for breakfast.
Yep.
I had 15 bananas for lunch.
Yeah.
And I had another 15 bananas for dinner.
So about 30 bananas total.
Yep.
That man's voice you're hearing is her partner at the time, Harley, also best known by his YouTube channel's name, Durian Rider. He's been a cyclist and a raw foodist since the early 2000s, and the two met soon after Freely started The Lifestyle on a raw food forum. Eventually, they got together and started posting videos about raw veganism on YouTube.
You know, guys were not finding me that physically attractive.
Mm-hmm.
It just wasn't the same. You know, I didn't have that fruity vibe. I didn't have the fruity physique.
Flat stomach.
Flat stomach. It comes with the territory. You eat a low-fat, a high-carb, raw vegan diet, lifestyle. You followed lifestyle and you're going to get a more sexually attractive body.
For the people who saw their videos and wanted to learn more, they also created a raw food forum of their own called 30bananasaday.com, where people new to the lifestyle or people who saw their videos could come and ask questions. Like, I'm new to this and I'm having trouble eating this volume of food. Or, am I weird for craving cherry tomatoes? Or do you think it's natural to eat nuts? They would get answers from Freely and Harley directly a lot of the time, but also from the community, which was starting to grow, and bring this message of low-fat, raw veganism from the shadows of weird health stuff out into the mainstream. And that was happening especially thanks to Freely and Harley's videos, which were intentionally provocative in introducing people to this diet.
Whoa. Oh my god, there's a big chunk. Oh my god.
Alright folks, I am up to dinner and I've got 20 bananas. So here and here. And on a side note, I think my abs got leaner today.
Freely and Harley's videos appealed to people who may have never considered this diet otherwise, and that's because they had some extra messages tacked on to the low-fat raw vegan diet stuff. One of those messages was presenting low-fat raw veganism as an eating disorder recovery diet, because they say you can eat 3, 4, 5,000 calories a day on it. Doesn't matter what you eat as long as it's fruit. In fact, the more you eat, the better. And they showed themselves in their videos doing this regularly as proof that you can stay lean on unlimited carbs. They somehow took this diet that contains next to no food groups and reframed it as a diet of abundance and freedom. And if you look at the comments on their videos from the time, you can tell that this message was actually really resonating with people.
We promote the most calories, we promote the easiest lifestyle. We're not saying we're better than anyone else, we're just saying this is what we do. We're not after your money. We sell, Freely sells an ebook. I sell a $2 audio book.
Yeah.
Hopefully my book will be out soon, but that's all we sell. We're not motivated by money. We're motivated by helping people.
The other message that made them different from the rest of the raw vegan movement is that they said they were doing what they were doing for the animals. The raw food movement tended to focus pretty specifically on health. Worrying about the animals was like something that regular mainstream vegans did, and we all know their brains have been poisoned by the toxic veggie burgers and diet cheese they've all been eating. But Freely and Harley said that they were raw vegan for the animals too, and everything they do in their videos is with the purpose of grabbing more attention, creating more vegans, and building a vegan movement. And to criticize their approach is to harm the vegan movement as a whole.
Is that so extreme? Extreme for me is losing a leg to diabetes because you didn't want to change your diet. Extreme is walking around carrying an extra 1 or 2 people on your back all day because your diet's keeping you a lard ass. Extreme is a humiliation of going to the doctor every week to have some guy fiddle with your prostate or stick his finger up your bum. Extreme is living with eczema, rosacea, skin problems all over your body and face and not changing your diet. Extreme is saying how much you love your pet dog, then paying some impoverished immigrant slaughterhouse worker to put a meat hook in the face of a baby lamb for your dinner.
I'm like, what are you doing, man? I'm like, is this like okay, you know, I get it. You know, the more views, it makes sense. Like, we got to bring in more people. Like, yeah. I see your angle, but like 4 pizzas, like
I thought pizza was like part of the problem, and now it's part of the solution.
Yeah,
like,
you know.
In 2013, after years of promoting raw veganism, Freely and Harley started to do something a little crazy. Cook their food.
So how many people is that for? A family?
That's just me, baby.
Just one skinny bum.
Well, not all their food. They had started promoting a new diet called Raw Till 4, which is what it sounds like. On Raw Till 4, you eat high-carb, raw vegan foods for breakfast and lunch, lots of fruit, and then for dinner, you can introduce high-carb, low-fat, cooked vegan meals.
Hey Fruitbaz, so now we're at dinner and I'm gonna have potatoes. What a surprise. I'm gonna have just plain potatoes. And you know, I have many days still raw, but I'm having potatoes today. You know, just to show you how easy it is to do the Raw Till 4 lifestyle. It's dead easy. It's the cheapest lifestyle on the planet. Seriously, there's a lot of people who say, oh, you know, vegan's too expensive. It's not too expensive. Rice, potatoes, vegetables, they're some of the cheapest foods on the planet.
The idea was that Raw Till 4 was kind of like a backup plan for people who had trouble staying fully raw. They said it was a way to help more people stay vegan as opposed to feeling too restricted and then just going straight back to eating animal products. Now, the cooked food on Raw Till 4 still very much had stipulations. No oil under any circumstances, no salt, and still very, very low fat. On Raw Till 4, you could eat things like plain steamed rice with steamed veggies, plain potatoes dipped in tomato paste as ketchup. To signify this change, Freely started signing off her videos with "Go root yourself" along with her traditional "Go fruit yourself."
And today's video is about why some cooked food
is better than raw food. Why eating cooked food sometimes is better than raw. Alright, so that's a bit controversial, I know, but trust me, there is a lot of sense to it.
Not everyone was pleased when Freely and Harley started to cook their food, particularly other leaders in the raw food movement. This change was so scandalous that the two were demoted from their role as pioneers in the biggest annual raw food gathering, the Woodstock Fruit Festival.
Now, we don't hate anybody, but we are disappointed in a few people.
I mean, yeah, we got voted off by people who, you know, said they were friends.
Now, historically, when an influencer pivots their diet or lifestyle in a big way, even if it's for the better, the reaction from their audience isn't always great. It's almost like people feel betrayed that someone that they've listened to has gone on to change their mind. But when Freely and Harley added cooked food into their diet after years of promoting a fully raw one, that's not what happened. It's almost like Raw Till 4 made them seem like the reasonable ones as opposed to these crazy raw foodists who were picking fights over steamed rice. And getting kicked out of Woodstock also really hammered home the other messages that Freely and Harley were trying to send. That they were promoting a diet fit for eating disorder recovery, and that their tactics for promoting it were with the end goal of saving animals. Suddenly, their diet was slightly more abundant, and thus more people would be able to follow it and eat more foods and save more animals. They hadn't betrayed anyone by changing their mind. They were making good on their promises. With a growing following, Freely and Harley didn't need Woodstock Fruit Festival. They announced they would be hosting their own fruit festival in the summer of 2014.
So what we're announcing is a Thai fruit festival. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be free entry, no entry fee. We're all basically just going to sit around, sharing stories, sharing our experiences on this lifestyle, eating fruit. How much better can it get than that? In a beautiful Thai environment.
The first Thai fruit festival in Chiang Mai hosted hundreds of high-carb raw vegans in the mountains for 3 weeks. Freely and Harley's fans came from all over the world to cycle together, drink giant smoothies, and ask them questions about the lifestyle. But they didn't just answer questions about eating Raw Till 4. Freely and Harley had a whole suite of lifestyle recommendations. Getting a vasectomy or convincing your partner to, quitting your job to make vegan YouTube videos and vegan ebooks and spread the vegan message, selling your car and riding a bike everywhere, and putting veganism before everything, especially friends and family who won't do it.
So a friend's got a YouTube channel, they want to start off a YouTube channel. Do we have any tips? They're a bit afraid of putting the message out there themselves. My best tip is to realize it's not about you and to put the message before how you feel. And being self-conscious and unconfident, that sort of thing. Just remember there's animals getting their heads chopped off, throats slit, abused, exploited. And like this vegan message is so fucking urgent. We just need to put it out there. So get over yourself, basically, and just get it out there. That's like my number one tip.
After the first Thai fruit festival, Freely and Harley's influence on YouTube started to grow rapidly. Not just because everyone who went to the festival was vlogging it, but because Freely's channel really burst into YouTube's mainstream with her celebrity call-out videos, where she would review the diets of celebrities or other YouTubers and tell them to go vegan.
And Jenna is really starting to put on weight. Okay, she's not fat by any means, but she is definitely gaining weight. So the people out there saying, oh, you're fat shaming Freely, you're fat shaming blah, blah, blah. No, get over it. Clearly just making an observation, she is gaining weight. So why is she? Because she has gone off her predominantly vegan plan. So apparently she actually ate a non-vegan donut while she's at this donut shop. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like these flaky celebrities. You know, she's like, oh, you know, I love vegan. You know, I've been in this plant-based lifestyle for over a year, I love it, blah, blah, blah. And then she goes and does that. So I was like, just, you know what I mean? Like disappointed, just seriously disappointed. So these girls are obviously very young and they don't understand optimal human nutrition and how the brain and body works. So Nikki is not recognizing the fact that her body and her brain is just asking for sugar, asking for carbohydrates, which every cell in the body runs on. When you get a craving, that's what it means. You are carb deficient. So you have to honor that craving with the right foods, unlimited high carb vegan food.
And as far as getting the message of Raw Till 4 out there, this worked. Freely's channel hit 700,000 subscribers, and she got the attention of huge YouTubers like Jenna Marbles and Shane Dawson, who made videos with her after she called them out.
Hey, what's
Tippy guys, oh my god. How did this happen? I don't know. I'm here with Freely and Trish in the same room. I wore a turkey shirt to celebrate, and then I realized,
Very appropriate.
Then I realized it's Turkey Day, which means this bitch is gonna get eaten.
But if you found Freely's callouts kind of off-putting, or you found Harley to be too harsh.
Because I've got a pretty big ego, actually got a fucking massive ego, and I don't really care what people think as much. I sort of like the attention.
You couldn't really say that you felt that way. Their videos at the time were flooded with comments about how their advice had changed people's lives, and if you just look past their harsh exterior and actually just do what they're saying, you'll get it. And vegan YouTubers who didn't follow Raw Till 4 and just followed like a regular vegan diet started to be questioned for it. Why would you not do the best approach to veganism? Do you not support Freely and Harley?
Hey everyone, so for today's video I just wanted to talk about why I am not a high carb, low fat vegan, why I just kind of eat anything that is vegan, and just discussing that a little bit. I got a few comments the other day on my getting over my dairy addiction video from this girl who had been leaving comments on my videos for a while. Like, you're such a bitch, you're promoting like the worst lifestyle, you don't eat high carb, low fat, like how are you skinny, you must calorie restrict, and I was like, whoa.
That year, vegan YouTube became Raw Till 4 YouTube. It practically had its own language. People were writing Raw Till 4 recipe books, designing high carb vegan t-shirts, and all these new vloggers were touting all sorts of claims about how this diet helped cure their eating disorder or their IBS or their acne. Anyone who criticized the diet or their approach to promoting it was met with a string of Freely and Harleyisms. Like if someone said, I don't know if eating 4,000 calories of fruit a day makes sense. The Raw Till 4 community would say, you're promoting calorie restriction, you're promoting eating disorders, you're gonna send your audience straight back to animal products if you're talking like that. Carb the fuck up. And this was the vegan world that I found when I happened upon that Tumblr post that said you can eat unlimited carbs on this diet and not gain weight. And if you went vegan around this time, that's probably what you saw too. This diet was everywhere, and everyone who did it swore it was the best diet that saved the most animals and made the most vegans, with a healthy side portion of quitting your job and traveling the world making videos about smoothies. Why would you ever do anything else?
I love eating fruits. Fruits are my queen. Fruits are my queen.
Sugar addict, see?
Yeah, I love it. Simple sugars.
Hey guys. Hey guys.
One of the vegan vloggers from this time was Henya Mania. She was most known for her parody videos like Opa Vegan Style.
This is vegan style. Vegan style. 8 years ago, I decided to go vegan.
It was a simpler time. Henya was really living out the high carb, low fat, Freely and Harley lifestyle. She was a digital nomad who traveled all over the world eating vegan food. She sold vegan t-shirts and recipe books, and of course, made vegan YouTube videos. She even got a durian rider quote tattooed on her thigh during the Thai Fruit Festival in 2015.
I have it here.
I haven't had a tattoo in like 5 years. So excited.
One thing Henya had in common with a lot of others at the Thai Fruit Festival is that she came to Raw Till 4 after previously having an eating disorder. Henya didn't recover from her eating disorder doing Raw Till 4. She had done that a few years before and had just been eating a pretty regular vegan diet in the meantime. But when she started to have some health issues, she decided to give Raw Till 4 a try to help treat them. But as Henya started following Raw Till 4, some old habits started to come back. She got obsessed with following the rules to a T, and then started to take the diet to even more extreme places. She went from Raw Till 4 to fully raw vegan, and then took what they called a trip to Banana Island, which is when you only eat bananas for a month.
Then I'm like, fuck this. No longer. No more in my life do I want to think about food that much every single day. Just stop. I was full on orthorexic. I even lost my period for several months. And I am so happy that I am eating normally again.
For Henya, following Raw Till 4 essentially became another eating disorder. So she went back to being just vegan. Not high carb, low fat, not Raw Till 4, just regular vegan. and started posting videos of her regular vegan food with some oil and some mock meats. And she started sharing her experience doing Raw Till 4.
I was obsessing over the foods I was eating. I was trying to eat like, 1,000 calories for this, 1,000 calories for that, another 500 calories, if not 1,000 for dinner. So I had like all of this pressure to eat so much food that my body didn't need. And it just became like so bad. I cannot even food just became this thing that controlled my life again. And I never thought I would be in that place again after, being anorexic and having food take over my life and everything now again. But it comes in such a sneaky way you don't even know it.
If you think back to when Freely and Harley kind of bucked the rules of raw veganism and started promoting a different diet, they were celebrated for it. Their followers held them up as these moral crusaders for the vegan message. But when Henya started posting about how being high carb, low fat really didn't work for her, and maybe eating hummus with some oil in it is not going to kill you, that's not what happened. The Raw Till 4 community totally turned on her and her boyfriend Jason at the time, and Freely and Harley banned them from the 2016 Thai Fruit Festival. Freely posted in their Facebook group, "Hey everyone, for those confused about why Henya and Jason are no longer in the group, here is a quick rundown. Unfortunately, as brought to our attention by many, they have recently become anti-cyclist, anti-carbs, anti-Raw Till 4, anti-vegan activism, anti-Freely and Durian Rider. So naturally, this attitude will not fly in our high-carb group. This is sad as we have done nothing but support Henya and Jason, even featuring Henya in one of our videos promoting her channel. They now take every opportunity to call Raw Till 4 an eating disorder and recommend people avoid it. We were shocked. We always thought we were on the same team. These days, there is a steady stream of posts and videos from them focused on bringing us and the high carb movement down. Anyone carved up enough can see this as clear as day. We especially thought Henya would be putting her energy into saving the animals, not bitching about the people who are most giving and most effective in the movement. After so many years coaching people and running busy forums, we know what actually works. We are not new to this. We are trying our very best to prevent disordered eating here, not breed it. We are genuinely disappointed it's all come to this, but as you can imagine, they have left us with little choice. Thank you, Harley and Freely."
How much sugar is too much sugar? Sugar. How much fruit's too much fruit? How much rice is too much rice? It's impossible to eat too much sugar or rice or fruit in a week.
By 2016, Freely and Durian Rider had taken a fringe diet, tweaked it a little bit, and then blown it up in YouTube's mainstream. But cracks in their movement were starting to form. And one of the big cracks is that a lot of people following Raw Till 4 were gaining weight.
I seriously saw all Harley's videos and he's like, carbs won't make you fat, man. Look at me and Freely, we eat more carbs than anyone on this fucking planet, mate. And look how slim and trim and whatever and shit we are. And you cannot get fat on carbohydrates. You cannot gain weight on carbohydrates. Well, we'll see if I can't get fat on carbs. And obviously I did get fat on carbohydrates.
Which is not to say that gaining weight is bad, but it is to say that this prevailing message about eating unlimited carbs and not gaining weight is not true. But that didn't stop people from giving it an earnest try. Raw Till 4 weight gain was so common that Freely and Harley had to come up with an explanation for it, which is something they called metabolic damage, which they said means if you have a past of restrictive eating, which a lot of people on this diet did, that when you first start this diet, you'll actually gain weight, and that's your body healing its metabolism.
That doesn't mean that it's going to happen to you, it's just up to your past. I really, really stuffed up my metabolism. Okay, I was taking a lot of drugs, I was anorexic, I was bulimic, I was being very, very nasty to my body, so it took time, it took time for me to heal from that past abuse.
So the idea is to heal yourself by eating unlimited carbs, you'll gain some weight, and then at some point your body will kind of figure it out, and then you'll lose weight eating unlimited carbs. You kind of just have to trust the process and keep drinking your smoothies.
At first, yes, in the first 10 months or so, I did put on weight. And as Freely and Durian Rider have said, if you've been binge eating and starving yourself for years, which I was doing, then your hormones are all whack, they're all out of sync. And it's going to take a while for that to, you know, rebalance and stuff like that. So that's what happened, you know.
Now, is this a far cry from you won't gain weight on unlimited carbs? Yes. Did it matter if someone maybe didn't have a background of restrictive eating and was gaining weight on this diet? Not really. The pretty clear explanation for what was going on, which is like, no matter your background of eating and no matter what you eat, if you eat in an excess of calories by the thousands, you'll probably gain weight. That explanation was not to be spoken. For one, Freely and Harley would just present their bodies as evidence of the contrary.
Processed sugar, is it fattening? What's the deal?
Processed sugar. Processed sugar is not fattening, or else I would be fat because I do eat processed sugar.
And if you said, this isn't working for me or this doesn't make sense, you would be shunned from the community like Henya was. Everyone had seen it happen and they knew not to do it too. People who tried to say, hey, this isn't working for me, I'm gaining weight, would be told they're just not doing the diet right. They must secretly be eating animal products. Maybe they're taking steroids. Maybe they're actually a shill from big meat and dairy who's been placed here to take our movement down. And it wasn't just Freely and Harley making these accusations anymore. People in the community monitored each other's diets and made videos about each other. Everyone's goal from Freely and Harley on down was to discredit any less than favorable results on Raw Till 4. If there was a sign that Harley and Freely were worried about criticism of their diet, it was in March of 2016 when they announced that this summer's Thai Fruit Festival was going to be renamed the Raw Till 4 Bike Festival. And the new name came with some new rules. If you wanted to come that year, you had to be serious about high carb, low fat, in cycling. Harley and Freely felt like there were too many leeches who were using them and their festival to launch their career as vegan vloggers and then turn right around and stomp on their diet. And they wanted those people gone. Especially because there was so much drama leading up to this festival about people not following the diet as strictly as they used to, or Raw Till 4 weight gain, or people who were unhappy with the new rules for the festival. All of this drama was chronicled on this new channel called Vegan Cheetah, which was basically TMZ for high carb, low fat vegans.
That's not my problem. Like, you were bullied in school. We're not in high school. We're on YouTube. If you can't handle trolls in your own comment section, close your channel.
I know some of you are going to be really excited to see Vegan Cheetah as my special guest, and some of you are going to be all
It's understandable.
But all that drama aside, hundreds of people from all over the world requested to join the new Raw Till 4 Bike Festival Facebook group. And that summer, they all made their way to Thailand to bike up the mountain, which was now mandatory.
We're halfway! Oh, we're halfway there!
At the top of the mountain, everyone was rewarded with a daily hour-long Q&A with Freely and Harley, who said they hoped the Q&A this year would have more high-quality questions because more high-quality people had made it to the festival.
If you want a quality relationship, in my opinion, you have to be on the fucking same page every day. If you're not, it's a bit like riding a bike. It's like buying a fucking shopping, like one of those, you know, little city bikes, and you're flogging up the mountain every day. It's not designed for that. It's not going to last. Your time's going to be slow. You're going to feel frustrated. So if you're in a relationship with someone, and they're not going in the same direction you want to go, and they're not going in the same direction as you that they want to go, you don't want to be dragging someone by the heels, do you? So you've got to have someone who's just like, they're running at your pace as well.
I remember watching videos from this festival and just thinking it seemed kind of off. It was like Freely and Harley were on the defensive, and instead of it being a place for like-minded people to come together, it was more like a place for like-minded people to get away from the criticism of everyone else. And no one got the Raw Till 4 community on the defensive more than Vegan Cheetah, who was speculating on the goings-on of the festival in his videos. And one of his speculations was that Freely and Harley had actually broken up at the festival. I don't know if someone tipped him off to this or if he was just being provocative, but whatever the backstory, the idea that Freely and Harley had broken up got people talking.
Did you hear what happened to Freely?
What?
She's moving to LA without Durian Rider. They're breaking up. He ate too many of her pancakes one day. She's cheating on him now, with a girl.
How do you know?
I've been watching the Vegan Cheetah. He's the Jerry Springer of vegans.
But as the rumors started to swirl, Freely and Harley totally denied it. They biked up the mountain every day, they did their Q&A, they drank their big smoothies, and acted like nothing had happened.
Festival's finished. It's the last day, a few days ago. Now, what date is it today?
24th.
Is it 24th today? Yes.
24th of June.
Okay, it's 24. We got visa updates yesterday. 24th of June.
Yeah.
Freely.
That was awesome. I really enjoyed it. There's my lesbo lover in the background.
Yeah, lesbo lover. My car's buddy. Get your own.
Come on.
Get your own, baby.
Don't be nasty.
Sugar, 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 sugar.
Vegan Cheetah was right. Freely and Harley had broken up during the Raw Till 4 Bike Festival in June. But they didn't announce it until months later in September. At first, they said it was mutual, but it did not take long for the two of them to turn on each other. Freely accused Harley of taking steroids. Harley accused Freely of using Botox. Both of them accused each other of abuse. And by the time the dust had settled, their vice grip on vegan YouTube was gone. And everything that had been simmering started to come to the surface.
Oh man, you know, sometimes I look back and I'm like, were we in a cult? Were we in a cult and was Freely our ringleader?
It was like without this united force keeping tabs on what everyone was eating and then keeping tabs on what everyone was thinking about what everyone was eating, everyone was free. And not just free to cook with oil or eat rice at noon, but free to think thoughts like, maybe I'm just gaining weight because I'm eating 4,000 calories of bananas. Maybe Raw Till 4 is not an abundant eating disorder recovery diet. Maybe I feel sick because this is just a bad diet founded on junk science, not because I'm doing the diet wrong. The kinds of thoughts that would get you labeled a steroid-taking shill by Freely and Harley, who would kick you out of their festival in a second if it meant selling more ebooks. But with the breakup, it was almost like their power was gone. They had turned their call-out videos on one another, attacking each other's credibility until it just didn't even make sense to pick a side anymore, because it was abundantly clear that both sides were bullshit. And one by one, over the next few years, vegan vloggers started to drop high-carb, low-fat and Raw Till 4, and a lot of them dropped veganism altogether.
Hi guys, I'm not really sure how to start this video, to be honest. And I don't entirely feel ready to really talk about it, but at the same time, I hate hiding it from you guys and I feel like I'm almost living a lie. So I really want to get it out there and get it off my chest, and maybe that will help me process it and accept it as well. So here it goes. I'm not vegan anymore.
It seemed perfect. I thought, oh wow, you know, I can just eat fruit all day and I can stay skinny. Raw veganism was probably the worst choice that I could have ever made at that point, but I think that just goes to show how mentally sick that I still was, you know, and I was kind of using raw veganism to fuel my eating disorder still, in a way.
And I started a very low fat Raw Till 4 approach, and again that might work for some people and they can maintain their periods throughout that, and that's fine, but for me that just didn't work.
It has been so hard for me to make this decision, like so hard. And like I spoke to Tiff for hours about it and I was so lost, hey. I know a lot of people look up to me for the vegan lifestyle, and seriously, it's been really hard.
As I have openly shared my health struggles with you during the past year, many have criticized my past, present, and allegedly future dietary choices and decisions. This is to be expected, and I respect that people will always have their own opinions. Although it does not sway my healing journey in the slightest, it does lead me to pause and consider how much I share regarding diet moving forward.
I'm really sorry about the way that the news were communicated to you. I don't think there was ever gonna be the perfect time for me to make this video. I definitely did not feel ready to talk about this or share it.
There was a point where there were so many no longer vegan videos that it kind of became a genre in itself. Freely and Harley's supposed mission to promote the best vegan diet to create the most vegans forever didn't work. And it's not because people were doing the diet wrong, it's because it was a bad diet. Freely and Harley reacted to all of these no longer vegan videos in the way that they always did.
Okay, so let me start by saying I know every one of these well-known YouTubers making these why I'm no longer vegan videos. Some of them I know very well, have hung out a lot. and I like them as people. Not that they would ever publicly support me or anything like that, but still. This is a video for anyone out there who's ever made one of these why I'm no longer vegan videos. So I've been in this movement for over 12 years. I've seen people come and go. I've heard every excuse there is. And I'm sick of it. I'm sick to fucking death of hearing these bullshit excuses to end animals' lives again. From brain fog and pimples and gas to my baby took all my protein. Get the fuck out of here.
But no one really cared what they had to say, or at least people weren't scared of them anymore. No one had to be, because raw veganism, raw till 4, high carb, low fat, all of it went back to the fringes of weird health stuff where it came from. With Freely and Harley out of the way, people saw it for what it was. But that meant that everyone who followed that diet and made videos of themselves doing that diet had some explaining to do.
You made me buy a bike.
I'm so sorry, sweetie. I'm so sorry. God, I'm triggered.
Oh my gosh,
I know what clip is coming next, and I can't watch it. I can't watch it. Oh my god, I'm gonna vomit.
With Freely and Harley out of the way and more vegan YouTubers not being vegan anymore, the worst reactions to some of these no longer vegan videos came from people's followers. Even people with incredibly sympathetic stories about how the diet messed up their relationship with food or gave them really serious health problems. Because for every influencer who felt duped by Freely and Harley, they had followers who felt duped by them.
That's me in the corner. That's me in the spotlight, losing my...
There are two things that are true at once. The first is that influencers influence people. That's their whole thing. They share what they're eating and what they're buying in a desirable way to try and get you to do it too, and they make money doing that. It's not wrong to do that, but it is what they're doing. The second thing is that people make mistakes, grow, and change. And those two things simultaneously being true is uncomfortable sometimes. Do influencers owe their audience something when they're wrong about something as serious as diet? Even when I get why they did it. The allure feels very obvious to me. But the problem is that the allure isn't true.
How would you like to avoid, and in many cases even reverse, the now common diseases that are killing millions of people each year, like heart disease, stroke, cancer, and type 2 diabetes? You can with a healthy and sustainable raw food diet. Just wanted to open with that to give you some idea what we're dealing with here. Yeah, I wrote those words back in 2012. I wrote a book, The Science of Eating Raw.
Different vegan and ex-vegan influencers have tried handling this in different ways. A natural vegan who you just saw makes videos reacting to and debunking her old raw food videos. Others have just said, I was never trying to tell anyone what to eat. I was just sharing my journey. And some of them have hopped onto new fad diets and shared that too.
It is officially day 1 of the carnivore challenge. I have yet to eat my first meal of the day yet. I'm just gonna wait a little bit until I'm hungry. It's still pretty early right now. And I am a little bit nervous for what I'm about to dive into. I have gone like mostly carnivore various times in the past year, or actually the most part of the past year. But I haven't gone like 100%, so.
And some of them are somewhere in the middle.
So many questions in here about feeling guilty for not being vegan anymore. And honestly, like, I don't know exactly what to say to help you with that, because it really is about a mindset and how you perceive things. But I just want you to know that you do not have to feel guilty for putting your health first. You are entitled to live healthily and be happy and be, healthy. So please just know that. Live your best life.
That's Bonnie, whose Tumblr post about eating unlimited carbs and not gaining weight was my first exposure to this diet back in 2015. And two things about her video are true at once. The first is that I am genuinely glad to see someone who seems to have a happy, relaxed approach to food after years in a very controlling vegan community, who is healed from the health issues that they had on Raw Till 4. The other is that I sauteed my vegetables in water for a year at her suggestion. And I feel a way about that, because it's hard to be wrong. It's hard to admit you were wrong to yourself, and I imagine it's very hard to admit you were wrong to an audience of hundreds of thousands of people, especially people who followed you because they wanted to to eat like you and look like you. And no one is a bigger example of this than Freely herself.
Cami isn't even vegan. She's a plant-based poser, and I feel like she's been doing it for years. I made a video, go and check it out, just recently, exposing her as a plant-based poser.
And I was actually deeply involved in what was, before it went up in flames, the vegan community.
The vegan community didn't go up in flames. It actually has evolved. It has gone so far. I think she means that like when the algorithm crushed Raw Till 4, basically. But veganism is onwards and upwards.
Freely is still making videos reacting to what used to be the Raw Till 4 community, reviewing the diets of people who have left and moved on. It probably feels lonely to watch all these channels you helped start carry on without you. But it's a lonely world of her own making. In a world of call-out videos and diet reviews, it was really only a matter of time before that turned back on her and her diet. And it's weird to watch Freely reacting to these channels that have tried the diet and moved on. It kind of feels like when someone tells you you're going to hell and you just don't believe in hell.
I want to have something more so refreshing, so
Oh, no.
I'm just going to have some lettuce and some dates. Okay.
Wow. Really dramatic there in the corner about eating some lettuce and dates. Oh my god. Oh! And you see what she's eating now. Absolute rubbish, just bioengineered food, right? This chemical crap.
The light is screwing me over.
I forgot I used to eat this. What? This is why I'm saying, were we in a cult? Who sees?
It's lettuce and dates. Calm down.
These days, Freely is living mostly off-grid in the jungle where she's back to eating all raw food. Durian Rider got a string of girlfriends half his age who he's trained to make YouTube videos about cycling and veganism. And raw veganism is back in the fringes where it started, only brought in the mainstream when people are laughing at the fact that they ever did it at all.